Everybody. So quick review, not really review, but what we talked about last week was how to kind of work on your side hustle while you're balancing a full-time job, right? And so one of the most important things was determining what format of content you can create. And today we're going to talk about how to do the keyword search to understand the type of the type of content or keywords you should use when you're creating your content, right? So if you don't title your content appropriately, Google's not going to know who to send to you, whether we're talking Google on blogs and written content or whether we're talking about YouTube. So it's a lot. So we're going to break it down to just talking about writing today, right? Which is why I want to bring up this question really quickly. Lorette Caroline, she asked if I could make a video talking about making money blogging and writing in various times spent on the category of guest posting, magazine, and sales writing, right? How do you find the jobs and all that other good stuff? So, format, again, I'm gonna go over the content that I have for you, and those of you who are here with me live, I'll answer your questions. So please, if you want to write your questions in so you'll be up in the queue, do that. Please put a queue by it so I know there's a question versus people talking in the chat. And that's it. Next week I won't be here. I will be in Italy, but we will be back the week after that. So let's go ahead and get started with this particular question. And this is going to be important for all of you because I know I probably beat find your niche or your industry into your head excessively, but this is why it's important, because if you want to reverse engineer or you want to do some research, if you don't narrow down what your niche is, it's going to be a little bit harder to find out where you can plug your content in various outlets, right? So for this one, if you want to guest post or you want to write for magazines, you still have to choose what industry, because how to do it is going to vary, right? So let's just head over and let me give you an example. So if you're looking over here on Google, right? And let's just choose finance as this example. So you just literally type in the industry and guest posting. We're going to scroll down. Here's a listing that's telling you some posts that, some blogs in which you can guest post for, right? This person, no, not that, that's Fiverr, but the person above right here, finance guest post, all of these are people just creating a list for places where you could submit your content. Now, let's just go here to Wealth of Geeks. So here's the thing you got to realize when you are going to blog, when you are going to guest post. You need to, the content that you're going to write for or that you're asking to be put on, you need to read their content to see the way that they write. So let's say this is just an example, this website, Wealth of Geeks. If their content is more comedic versus like CNN style, you want to know that before you send a pitch to them, okay? If you don't read their content first, or at least find their style, most likely your pitch is going to get rejected. So when you are guest posting specifically, you have to have a plan as to why you're guest posting. Now, if you have a new website, your domain is going to have very low domain authority. It means nobody really knows about it and Google doesn't quite trust it yet. So with some of the reasons for guest posting is so that you can have your domain attached or linked to other reputable sites. This helps your domain authority, right? So if you're guest posting for this purpose, most likely it will be unpaid. Okay, so I need you to know that your payment per se is your domain authority. So, and this is only if you're just starting out. Your domain may not be that old. You may want to go ahead and guest post so that you can have your link associated with other websites. In addition to this particular website that you're guest posting may have the audience that you have not yet built yet. So this is another way to get more people to know about your name and that type of thing, right? So that's guest posting. If you don't necessarily want to get paid. Some guest posting opportunities do pay, but you just want to confirm that beforehand. So I did want to let you know that. Okay, so just looking over here, they're telling you what they're looking for. And when you Google guest post in your industry, most likely if they're accepting guest posts, they'll tell you. So like right now, let's look at travel. and see what's coming up. Okay. So again, your industry, if you write about food and wine, most likely you're not going to be writing about tech, right? So it's important if you're going to write, you still need to find out what industry you're going to be in, right? So right now we're talking about travel, and let's just go through this. So we have some websites that have already put some guest posts, and if you could see here, submit a guest post for the travel blog. Now let's reverse. Even though something may have a good or the opportunity to guest post, you want to make sure that their domain is important as well. When you're first starting, it doesn't matter that much because you still got to get your feet wet, right? So not everything is going to be your CNNs, your Forbes, your all of that, right? Like you can still find blogs and websites that have good domain authority, and you can position your content on their blog. So, okay, so here's some guest posts there. So I hope that's making a little bit more sense. So here we are in Google, and now we're talking about submitting an article. And I want you to look at this, right? Do you see that Google's auto suggest specifically says submit an article to New York Times, submit an article to The Guardian, to Washington Post, to Huffington Post? This is Google's auto suggest. And this is basically Google telling you what people are already searching for. Now, when you're talking about submitting articles, I want you to come up with a hit list. I'm sure there's a more eloquent word or a marketing term for the hit list, but I can't think of it right now. Basically, it's a list of articles or publication you would want to write for. Now, you still have to be realistic. If you have no portfolio and you have never submitted your writing to anyone before, you can't just end up in Forbes or the Washington Post of all those places, okay? You want to build your way up to that. But in order to find out what is necessary to submit, you're going to Google it, or you're going to go to their website, because as we're going to see in a bit, they're going to show you what they require, because everyone's going to be different, what they require for the submissions. All right, so let's look at here, and let me just type Forbes. Okay. All right. So let's just look at something real quick. All right. So here's Forbes. This is on Forbes.com. Forbes is telling you how they want you to submit your content. So this is saying if you want to be viewed, you can call this number, or you can email to PR. Or if you specifically want to pitch a story, then you approach the editorial staff directly. Now, let's say you write out your hit list of the places where you want your content published. Now it's time to find the editors of those magazines or newspapers, right? You can do this with a quick Google search or LinkedIn. Most people who are editors have a LinkedIn account. They probably have a Twitter account. So you can find them on social, and you can DM them or contact them, and they'll tell you how they want to submit. A lot of times, if you're on Twitter, they will tweet out various posts or pitches that they're interested in getting. Now, here's the important thing. We talked about this last week, but every single company, media company, newspaper, all of that, they get paid by ads of people wanting to be associated with that website because it has an old domain authority, and a lot of people come to the website. So advertisers want to pay. So when you are reaching out to these editors, understand that there are a lot of people reaching out to the editors, and you want to compose an email or a pitch that is not self-serving. So understand editors are swamped, especially now because everyone has cut down their staff dramatically. So you want to be beneficial. Most media companies are targeting keywords, right? So when you approach your editors, you can ask them that, are there any particular keywords that Forbes or Washington Post or insert your publication is concentrating on, because then I could potentially create some content based on that. So anytime you want someone to work with you, and particularly if you're new, they have not tested you out before, be valuable to them. Okay, don't just go and ask them to do stuff for you. So just consider that role of creating your relationship with them to make it so that you're beneficial, so that when they're thinking that they need something, they'll think of you versus someone else. I hope that makes sense. So here's what Forbes is saying that they want you to do. just go ahead and Google who the editors are of Forbes. Not saying that Forbes is where you want to publish, but I'm just saying in general, wherever you want to publish your content, right? So right here, we have, this is for Vogue. Like if you want to submit an article to Vogue, Vogue owns, or the company owns Vogue, Teen Glamour, Allure, all of that, right? So again, they're telling you the format in which they want you to reach out to the editor. Be courteous and kind, and that's really the process, or one of the processes for submitting it for magazines, newspapers, that type of thing. Now, if you want to do sales writing, the niche thing is still important. You still have to put out like what niche you are, and then you can like either Google, or you can go to Indeed.com, or all these various places, because if you want to do sales writing. Now with sales writing, which pays very well, you got to be good. If you don't have a portfolio that shows that you either write good email, sales emails, or website copy, or what have you, then it's going to be hard, right? If you have not done this and you're just starting off, go to some of your friends and family and test it out, because no one wants to pay for you to learn. Like if you're trying to get paid to do this, you're going to have to take the initiative and practice a little bit, so that when you do pitch it to the company to pay for it, they're going to ask you for writing samples. Everybody's going to ask you for writing samples if writing is the direction you want to go to, right? So I hope that answers your question. Let me know if I didn't. And let me check and see. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's that question. I didn't get any email questions. So once I finish the questions here, oh, guys, I forgot to give you the number if you wanted to call in. Did I do that right? Yeah, that's the number. I typed that in chat if you want to call in. And right now, I'm gonna take you to some websites. So when you create content, all the Googles and the YouTubes and the cyber world need to know what your content is about, right? And again, that's going to be about keywords. Most of us are paying for software. And when I say most of us, I mean people who are doing this like for a living. Like you guys know, I have a digital marketing company, so I have to pay for software. I'm going to show you some resources that are free. But when you get the opportunity and you're starting to get the income in, I would encourage you to start paying for certain software. So SEMrush and Ahrefs are some of the softwares that people in my industry use. But if you're just starting off, let's just go ahead and look at Google. Let me show you my screen real quick. Okay, so Google. Now, what we just showed you was Google's auto suggest, right? So if you want to, let's just put email marketing. What was my email marketing? Okay, so I want you to look at this, right? You see how Google was telling you, and guys, you know I'm in Portugal, so no telling what's going to come up here, right? You see how this is Google's auto suggest. This is telling you, giving you information, and this is what people are searching for on Google, right? So when you think about this, Google is already telling you that people are using these words. Start to write these words down when it's time to create your content. And so let's say, for example, I'm looking for people who are interested getting some more clients that want email marketing, right? So what you need to be very diligent about is thinking about terms that people use who are ready to buy versus terms people may use if they just want education, right? So let's say somebody's using the term email marketing for dentists, right? So my assumption would be someone who's using these key terms it's probably a dentist who's interested in email marketing, right? Who could potentially be a client versus someone typing in how to do email marketing, right? If someone's typing in how to do email marketing, that means they probably want to do it themselves. So when it comes to your industry, I want you to think about it a little bit in regards to search terms, right? Excuse me. I'm getting over a cold too, guys. So please forgive me if I'm start hacking and doing the most. So this is also what I want you to pay attention to. You see here where it says people also ask. This is Google telling you that these are some of the key terms that people are typing. So when it's time to create your blog post or your written content, think of these keywords. You can actually write content that says, how do you market a dentist? Literally, you can write a blog post on that. So what I want you to understand is once your blog has all this different content in the same industry wrapped around a particular topic, then it's easier for the cyber world to know what your content is about, and that way they can send more people there. So that's a smaller part of SEO. But when you pay for these online tools, it'll give you more content, like the difficulty and real time information that you may not get from here. But if you were just starting out, this is perfect. Okay, so start to write this stuff down. Just, you can put this in an Excel sheet, but just start to write down the key terms that you see that people are typing and Google is telling you that people are typing. Okay, and then I want you to look down here where it also has information that people also research for, right? So dental email examples, right? The person who's probably typing that is most likely a dentist or someone who's attempting to market to a dentist, right? Dental email templates. So you can put a article, 17 dental email templates to close your client, to close 20% more clients this year. This is what your content is. And again, this is just an example, but I want you to take your industry, insert here, and you see how Google just basically gave you 20 examples of content you could write on your blog if you were trying to market to a dentist. Google just told you that, right? So think about that. And this is free. Okay, so if you're just starting out, look at this. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Google Trends. So Google Trends, what Google Trends does basically is it measures keyword popularity rather than the search volume. And so where this tool is helpful is if you're in a particular industry and you want to know, are the searches for that information going down, or are they increasing, or does it even matter? Google Trends is helpful for that. If you want to see the trends versus your competitor and it is helpful for that. But again, you kind of gotta have a lot of traffic for it to make sense for this particular tool. But let's still go back with the email marketing example. And so here, looking for it as a search term, a topic, and of course just other stuff. So I'm going to go for a search term. Before I did that, if you look up here where it says Portugal, can you see my mouse? You can't see my mouse, but right here it says Portugal, and I need to move that to United States. So fun fact, if you were like me who lives out the country, when it comes to digital marketing and people paying to be in front of the audience in which you created, the markets that pay for that are going to be, oh shoot, hold on one second. Okay, I'm getting the music because I needed to close that account. Sorry guys. So when it comes to paying for the audience to be in front of it, the countries they're going to pay for is US, Canada, London, not London, the city, but the country. I'm having a brain fart, guys. It is live. For the UK and Australia. Those are the 5 markets that pay the most. The US market is going to pay the absolute most, right? Marketing in the US online is going to be the most expensive, but if you've created your audience and you're put in front of it, you will get paid more for a US audience than any other audience. Why is that? Because most US citizens make their buying decisions online. Most other countries aren't like that, especially Europe and especially Portugal, right? So Portugal, there is not a ton of online advertising. And before somebody from Portugal come in my comments and tell me that's not true, these are facts, hon. There is literally statistics on how much money is spent per country. So I don't want to argue with nobody on that. At any rate, I have to switch this to the US market because you wouldn't see much on the Portugal side. So let's scroll down here to US. And why can't I get my life together? Okay, United States. Okay, once again, let's try it again. Email marketing, and here's just the trend. Let me find a trend. Okay, so this is United States past 12 months, right? But what if I wanted to know the past 7 days, right? So that's a lot. And let's say category. If I want to know email marketing, because we're still going with the example of people in the dentist, let me just do beauty and in fitness, right? And so do you want to do web search? Do you want to do news search, image search, shopping, or what? YouTube search. And so again, today we're talking about written content, but okay, not next week, but the week after that, we're going to spend time specifically on video though, right? So now we are looking at, we're just going to do web search. Now, here's what this does. If you have a local business, meaning you can't do this virtually, somebody needs to go into your store or your cafe or whatever, the interest by region is going to be very, very important, right? So this will tell you that not everybody is searching for this, and it's specific to region. For some reason, in the beauty and fitness, email marketing is getting searched more so in Hawaii. And you may not have thought about that. You may not have considered it. I didn't consider that until right now. So Delaware, Vermont, Rhode Island, and you can go and see the other sub-regions. So let's just look at that. So Alabama. So it tells you basically on what's the top one. Why does this matter? So depending on what your content is, you may want to focus either on publications that are specific to Hawaii. You may want to concentrate on blogs or online content that is specific to Hawaii. You may want to put Hawaii in your key terms when you're starting to create the content, okay? So you can kind of reverse engineer based on the information that Google is already telling you that exists, okay? So if you want to know some related topics and stuff like that, this is what this area is. But it's not doing the related keywords because not too many people are searching for email marketing in this way that I put it, okay? So I hope this is giving you a little bit of, let me put another term there just so we can give you another example. And sorry guys, I had to close the, somebody's doing the messaging. I closed the phone line because my tech was doing the most, and I don't know what's going on there. Okay. All right. So give me another topic. Somebody want to give me a topic in the chat, and I will put that in Google Trends. So if you put me in the chat, I'll look at the information and we'll come back to Google Trends just so we can look for it a little bit more. Now, next website is SpyFu, right? So SpyFu is free. All of these resources I am showing you are free. And I would really recommend that when you are just starting off, if you were just starting off, you don't have a portfolio, this is what you're deciding you're going to do, so please stick with the free tools right now. SpyFu is a great website. Would I recommend paying for it? I would probably recommend either going the SEMrush or the Ahrefs route if you wanted to pay for something. But what SpyFu does, you can put a domain or a URL and a keyword here, and it will give you a lot of information that can be helpful, especially as relates to key terms. So if you have a website that is, let's say, your competitor, and you want to know what keywords they're coming up for, then you can use this website to get a little bit of an idea. And they allow you to do a couple searches for free. And I can't remember because I haven't used this in years. Not because it's not great. It's just I pay for, and my company pays for a service. So this is the type of monthly domain overview that you really want to get. And if, let's say you have a larger competitor, you can see where they went and kind of reverse engineer it. So remember at the beginning, I was telling you about domain authority and how if you have your link associated with, websites that have an older domain and they have a lot of traffic, it's going to help increase your domain authority. So you can go to, let's say, your large competitor's website, see what articles and what publications publish them, and then you can start approaching them as well in regards to content to raise your domain authority. This also makes it super local. So when you do search, a lot of times Google's going to put you locally anyway, based on your IP address. So if you could see for a lot of the stuff that we just showed, it kept saying Portugal because that's where I am. But if I was in DC or California, it would be much more close to where I'm located. So why does that matter? There's sometimes, I know often you may feel because it's the big bad internet and it's huge, that your content has to be super broad. But the competition is going to be a lot lot less if you make your content local, right? So if you have a clothing store and you want to create content, let's say written content for, let's say, fall looks, you can say the best fall looks for New York City's whatever, right? So you can start to put those location keywords inside your content so that now Google can say, I feel like this is about fashion in this area, and you can stay there, right? So the competition, when you make it specific like that, it can niche you down more so that it would be a lot less difficult to rank for it than it would be if you just like fashion. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's see. Why am I here? I can't remember why I'm here. Wanted to show you this website, and now I can't remember why I wanted to show it to you because it's live and I get distracted. Anyway, SpyFu, check it out. It's a very helpful website. Actually, let me just put in a domain. Why can't I think of one? Washington, spell it right, girl. Washington Post. So this is just an example of the type of information you would get if they haven't. Okay. So organic keywords. This is a little obsessive because Washington Post is huge. I can't even think of something that's small right now to make this make a little bit more sense. But anyway, you would see organic keywords, and then we can go with, okay, so what are those organic keywords? And this can tell you the links. It's not going to show you everything, but you can see where it says volume, rank, SEO clicks. You can get a lot of information. And let me see, will it let me? Oh, it did let me. Okay, good. So you can get the information of the top keywords associated with it, the terms, the long key terms, and all of that stuff, right? So play around with this. I think they may allow you to do 4 to 5 searches a day, but if you were still trying to figure out what you want your content to be, use these tools to find out what's already in the world. Because what ends up happening is when people create content and they don't have a plan and they just they randomly create content, it's going to be harder for the world to find you. So start with stuff that people are already looking for, and then it's easier for a new audience to find you. And when I see people who are struggling to get eyes on their website or their business, that usually is the issue. Their content isn't either labeled correctly, or keywords weren't even considered when it came time to creating a website, right? All right, next site. This is Answer the Public. It's decent. Again, I shouldn't say to not buy it. But there are some tools, like I said earlier, that are, I think, a little bit more helpful. But if you were just starting off, this is helpful. So let's do email marketing again, because for some reason I can't think of anything else. Okay, email marketing. So this is Portugal. Of course, we do not want that. No disrespect. Y'all know I love Portugal, but they ain't paying for no advertising. And I need it in English. Although my Portuguese is pretty decent now. Okay. All right. So what this website does very well is it comes up with the questions that people are asking for. Because again, Answer the Public. Why is this helpful? Creating content in this space, answering a question, is super helpful. Because that's basically how people type. But keep in mind search intent, right? So we're staying away from people just trying to get educated versus people who are ready for a buying search term. So what are those differences? Some may be, let's say you're looking to purchase a Honda Civic. I don't know why that car randomly. You want to buy a new Honda Civic. If someone's researching that, they may say Honda Civic dealer near me, or what's the closest Honda Civic dealer in New York, or whatever. These are the questions that literally people are typing in Google. So when you think about that, if you create content that answers that question, there you have it. That is how people find you, right? So here's some why is email marketing not effective? So if I wanted to, I would make it industry specific, and I may say something like why dentists don't have effective email marketing. So if you are a dentist, you may think, well, why don't we have effective email marketing? Let me click this article to see if I'm doing it correctly, right? So I can, write an article, 10 tips, whatever. So start to look at these questions so that you're creating content with the keywords that we did some keyword search. This gives you ideas of what questions you can answer inside your content. I hope that's making sense. So that is Answer the Public. And here is one of my favorites. A lot of people use this. I use it all the time. It's not on this computer. It's on my laptop more so, but Keywords Everywhere. Keywords Everywhere is great for YouTube as well as other stuff. I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. So let me show you with Keywords Everywhere. The great thing about this is that you saw when I did the search, it gave volume and CPC pricing and that type of thing. That is what Keywords Everywhere does. So Keywords Everywhere is free. Actually, let me see what their pricing is. It's so ridiculously priced well. Is it still free at some point? Do they still give you a free option? I can't remember. I pay for it. But it's every search is 1 credit. This is a ridiculous amount of credit. So I'm paying them just because they came up with a great tool and they're not trying to hit nobody over the head with something crazy expensive. This is super, super helpful, right? I can't show you how it works on this computer, but basically what it does, when you type in your search, you get the information as to how many people in search volume are searching for it. And let me see if we have a screenshot, because I didn't even realize until now that it is on my laptop and not this computer. So anyway, check it out, play with it. How are we doing on time? We're doing great on time. I will answer your questions and talk to me. If we need to go to the phone line, let me know and I'll log back in. It started playing music. Humble Veg, how are you, love? Okay, question. I have tons of video content from my recorded Zoom classes. How do I affordably and creatively, hold on, let me get up. Let's see. Let me bring your questions up. If I remember how. I haven't done it in a while. Oh, I did it. Okay. I have tons of video content from my recorded Zoom classes. How do I affordably and creatively and fabulously chop the content up and use it? What do you mean specifically? Are you asking what you use video editing software to cut it? Is that your question? Let me know in the chat if I need to open the phone line, because when I have more questions, y'all not here to answer me. But to chop up any video, you're just going to use your video editing software, and I would recommend just use the one that is easy for you to use and then upgrade later. So I use ScreenFlow because I'm lazy. But yeah, you would just use the email marketing software. How to creatively, email marketing software. Nope. Not email marketing software. Girl, what is wrong with me today? You will use a video editing software. Jesus Christ. Okay. Hey there, Auntie Trey. You are not late to the party. You are here. Okay. Thank you, Viviana. Your virtual background, talking head, box, and frame for your content is beautiful. Thank you so much. Hey, y'all, here to listen. Hey there, Humble Veg. Can you go back to... Okay, hold on, Jessica. I don't think I know what you're talking about, love. I'm sorry. Can you go back to the up close screen view, please? Screen view of what specifically? Talk to me, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. I have SEM Rush, and my gosh, it's yes. SEM Rush is very informative. Okay, what about childbirth education and labor support content? What about it, love? What about childbirth education and or labor support content? I don't understand what your question is. What about it? I don't know what you're... Oh, okay, here it is. Okay, be more specific. We got a second. You got it here. Okay. Forgive me. Let me be more specific. Protecting your birthing rights during a hospital labor. What is your question? Are you asking about what content should you write about it? I would suggest putting whatever you're referring to right now into Google and see what comes up now, to see if what people are searching for, because I'm not all the way clear. Oops, didn't see. Look at me doing the most. Why do y'all put up with me? I swear. Because all right. I'm back. So just go ahead and type whatever you're referring to, protecting your birthing rights during a hospital stay. Is that something that people are searching for, or look for articles or publications or magazines that talk about, you said birthing rights? Because I don't know. I don't even know what that means. Y'all know I don't have no kids, so I don't even know what people feed them. I'm late. Hey, Epiphany Institute. Good to see you, love. Fran, hey Fran, what's going on? We need to catch up. Okay, so like to call in. Okay, if y'all like to call in, I'll connect it. If somebody, okay, trying to call in. Hey there, James, what's going on? Love you. Thank you, I appreciate you. I have to take a call. Hey, okay, Deborah. All right, let's see. Go ahead and put the, how much time we got? We got good. I'm gonna put the call-in number there again. And if you guys want to call in, go ahead and call in, but let me get my life together and get set up. So you guys are going to hear some music. Don't be alarmed. It's just me connecting to the conference software. Join a meeting, start a meeting. And y'all know I can't do a bunch of things at once because the way my brain's set up. And I've been coming from a cold, so for some reason my brain is not working anymore. Okay, join the meeting, Cinnamon. What's wrong with me? Okay, so
Welcome to Cinnamon's Conference Bridge.
attendees,
There is one other participant in the
admin.
conference.
I was trying to say when you switch to the laptop view, it was harder. Hold on one second. So I'm gonna come back to you, Jessica. So we have 771. You're live. Can you hear me, love?
Yes. Hi, it's Cinnamon. How are you? This is Viviana from DC.
Hi, Viviana. How are you?
I am good. First and foremost, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do this.
Sure thing.
Your presentations, every time I see them, they're just getting more and more beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So I definitely want to know if you're just using Zoom to present today because the frames
No,
and
this isn't
everything just
Zoom.
looks
No,
so
no, no, no,
good.
no. Okay, so now I understand your question. None of
Well,
this is Zoom. I'm not in Zoom. We tried Zoom before, but everybody wanted to call in better. So this is just a streaming software. So you can use any streaming software you feel comfortable with. There's StreamYard, Wirecast, Ecamm. That is what I'm using to stream, meaning that is what the live feed that is going out into YouTube, right?
okay.
If you see any images or stuff like that, like
So,
particularly this one, my screen share, this just came from Canva, right? So see where it has
okay.
plants and all of that stuff? That's just Canva, and you cut out my camera feed and I cut out the part for my screen sharing. Does that make sense, folks?
Got it.
Okay, I
Oh,
think
wow.
Jessica was saying. So that was your question? You wanted to
No,
make?
no,
Oh,
no, that wasn't my question.
okay.
So I wanted to clarify my question.
Hmm.
I am a childbirth educator slash birth and postpartum doula, and I provide childbirth education classes online, and I provide in-person and virtual labor support. My question was originally, I have all of this video content from my recorded classes over the past 2 years. That's great content. I really don't want to reinvent the wheel. What I have done in the past is, my daughter, she has a Mac and she knows how to edit videos on her Mac, but it's very time consuming. She's a student. She can't do it anymore. And I want to know, how do I then utilize this video footage? Can I teach myself how to do this? And what would be the easiest way for me? What would be the software I would use? Because I don't use Macs, I use Windows. So what would be like the software that I could use on Windows um,
Like
to do the
I don't
same
know nothing
thing?
about Windows. I'm sorry, honey. I haven't used Windows in I don't even know how long. So just a software. So what people come in the chat? What are people in Windows using for video editing? I
Or
honestly
is
don't
there
know.
a more efficient way for me to do it? Should I hire someone, and what would be the most feasible way to hire someone? Because I don't have thousands of dollars to, just hire someone for a few hours. So what would be the more feasible thing to do?
So you can go on a website like Premiere Pro. Thank you, Jonathan. Is that what's on Windows? Okay.
I
So
think Premiere Pro is Mac. I
is
think that's
it
Mac.
okay? All right, Jonathan, you gotta give us a Mac option. But yeah, you can go on a website like Fiverr.com. For those of you who are just starting out, Fiverr.com is a great resource to find